Hi, welcome to another episode of Look Ma No Hands. My name is Linda, and I like to talk about all things crochet, everything to do with yarn. Sometimes I talk about art and painting. I like to talk about the books that I'm reading and what I'm watching on TV, streaming, and at the theaters. So this week, you can see I finally have some crochet items to wear and talk about. It is deep winter for me, and I'm able to start wearing some of the fun items that I've been making. This week, what I'm wearing is a scarf and hat set that I made. The scarf was inspired by a video that I saw done by Blondie Knots a few weeks ago. She was talking about using kind of leftover yarns, trying to be creative with it, and she said she just took a bunch of yarn to stitch up a moss stitch scarf. So I kind of went with her formula for how long she made her scarf. I agree with her in terms of really liking a nice, long, substantial scarf. I'm not nearly as tall as she is, but I just like having a scarf that I can wrap, or in this case, I kind of looped it to make sure that it stays in place. I don't want to have to try to fuss with my scarf. It's just too much. So if I can secure it nicely, then I'm a happy girl. And then I had a little bit of yarn left from the project, so I decided to make a hat that would kind of coordinate. Initially, I thought I was going to make a moss stitch headband to go with it, but then I changed my mind and thought it would look really cute as kind of like an ice cream sundae type of hat with the little cherry on top, pom-pom. So I just went with that concept, and I used the Divine hat pattern and followed along with Fiber Spider, his video tutorial, and just changed colors when I was running out of yarn. And unfortunately, the back part of the hat, I literally ran out of the brown yarn. So it doesn't have a complete round of brown yarn to go around, but it still looks cute anyway. So I'm happy. I'm excited. Have a new hat and scarf set. The inspiration for the colors, pretty much I just felt like it really looked like Neapolitan ice cream or Brock's coconut candy. And I don't know, just the nostalgia of those two things just made me feel very inspired. So that's my little Neapolitan ice cream hat and scarf set. The book that I read this week, I only read one book, is called The Last Cuentista by Dona, Barba, Higuera. This book is another children's book, probably a pretty good age group would be like that middle school age group, like between like 5th and 8th grade. In this story, it's kind of sci-fi. The premise of the story is that a family is preparing to escape planet Earth when Halley's Comet is on the collision path with Earth, and the people that are kind of, I guess, assigned or determined to be of value to the human race are put on spaceships to then be sent away. If you're elderly or infirm, they don't want you. And so this family of professors, scientists, and their 2 young children are some of the people slated to be on the ship. But the young girl is not happy because she has to leave her grandmother behind. And she has a very close relationship with her grandmother. Her grandmother is a storyteller, kind of in the community. She helps to preserve the oral history. So the young girl is aspiring to be like her grandmother, even though her parents want her to go more along the path of science and things like that. She values her grandmother's skills as a storyteller, and in her short 12 years of life has worked very hard to just absorb as much of what her grandmother has to tell her so that she can then become a Cuentista when she grows up. Unfortunately, she's in a situation where she may never grow up. As the family is approaching the area where the spaceships are for boarding, they find out that there are kind of, I guess you could call them bad guys, for lack of a better explanation, that want to kind of take over the spaceships and bring their own society into the spaceships to escape Earth. Obviously, the people that chartered these spaceships don't want that to happen, so they're working really hard to get there as quickly as they can so that they can escape before the bad guys come on. The explanation of how escaping from Earth will be is quite interesting. The young girl understands that it's going to take 300 plus years to get to the new planet that was discovered for being able to sustain human life. And so she knows that anybody that she leaves back on Earth will not be around when she's finally brought out of the suspended animation time. So she's grappling with that. And yeah, there's just a lot of story to be told in this. I enjoyed it. I kind of like sci-fi type of things. Like when I was younger, one of my favorite movies in my young adult life was the movie Contact. That was a very interesting movie. So yeah, this kind of reminds me of that, of discussing what other places are there out in the universe and things like that. It was interesting how the author kind of addressed the way the human race is kind of neglectful of Earth and has been over the course of history. There was kind of a bit of a dig into that as part of the storyline. It was just a very deep story for it being a children's book, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed all the characters, even the characters that were not quite so nice. They definitely had their purpose in the story, and it's just a really nice, interesting story, a lot to talk about, a lot to unpack. So if you're into sci-fi type of things, this would be a good one. There is a sequel to this book, which I intend to read here in the next few days, so probably next week I'll come back with a discussion of the sequel. So yeah, that's all I've been reading. And then a little bit light on the watching this week. A few episodes of General Hospital that aired. We watched those. All the holiday stuff and the fluff and what have you is always very interesting. I really enjoy that. I watched the Rose Bowl parade. That's just been kind of my own personal tradition, that I get up on New Year's Day and watch the parade. And I really enjoy when they talk about the number of flowers on each float, and different organizations that really plan out just the thought of all the planning that goes into those floats in the Rose Bowl parade has always intrigued me. I really love that parade because the floats are just so elaborate and so iconic watching that parade. So yeah, that was one of the things that we watched this week, or that I watched. And then on Prime Video, we watched Merv, which was a really fun movie. It was a rom-com, but Tim was game for watching it because one of the main characters was a dog. The premise of the story is a couple has a rescue dog. The couple has a breakup, and they try to basically like share custody of the dog, and the dog ends up just not being really happy with his home life situation. And so the couple, well, the gentleman in the couple decides to try and cheer up the dog by taking him on vacation. The woman initially is like, he can't go to the beach, he doesn't like the beach. But then she ends up showing up at the beach where they're having their little dudes weekend. And the issues that they had that led to their breakup kind of come to light, and the story kind of gets a little bit deeper. And yeah, it was a fun movie, and it was just a nice little romantic comedy type of movie, and delved into a lot of like real issues that couples may come across in relationships. So I enjoyed it, and Tim liked all the antics of the dog. The dog was super cute, so it was a fun one. And then we had Mom over to watch the movie Oh What Fun on Prime Video. I thought it would be something that she would get a little chuckle out of. It's kind of like Home Alone, but instead of leaving the kid behind, they leave grandma behind. And so just a lot of what was discussed in the movie was just how like moms are always working really hard to make the holidays special, and the kids, no matter if they're young children or adult children, kind of take mom for granted and don't recognize how much effort it is to make the holidays seem special and to make it look effortless. And so this movie really talked a lot about that, and I think it's a good movie to get us adult children to realize that like moms work so hard and oftentimes don't get recognized for all of what they do. And so hopefully a lot of other people took the message from this that like we got to do a better job of taking care of mom because she takes care of us. So that's the message I took away from it, just because yeah, I recognized that my mom has always done a lot of work to make every milestone and every like special event special. And I think being that I come from a really big family, like I saw all the work that mom put into stuff, and as I got older I've tried to like help her do some of those things. And yeah, it was a fun movie, but a little bit deep when it came to all the discussion of what was necessary to mend their broken ways in the movie. And I know a lot of families are not so lucky as to have a mom that works hard like that, but for those that do have that mom that just makes everything look effortlessly special, we need to work hard to recognize that and do things to make things special for mom every once in a while. Hot take, maybe, I don't know. And then just life this past week has kind of been centered around the New Year holiday and things like that. So once again, we hosted New Year's Day celebration here. Everybody kind of did their own thing for New Year's Eve, but then we had a nice little ham dinner at my house, and definitely, again, mom to the rescue. My mom came over and helped to prepare all the stuff for the ham dinner, and she says she likes helping to prepare the food, but she doesn't want to have to be the hosting house anymore. So we had a good time. She even said that the dinner tasted better than she's had in a while when it comes to the traditional ham dinner. She said that it kind of felt like she tricked herself into thinking somebody else made it, because it just tasted that good. So I was happy to hear that she enjoyed herself, and my brothers seemed to have a good time. Everybody played games around the table after dinner. So it was a very pleasant holiday season this year. And 2026 hopefully will square up to be a very special year. I have a lot of exciting things planned for the first half of the year. So yeah, I'll take you guys along for the journey. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a happy new year, and I look forward to sharing the rest of the year with all of you.